We're talking homestead exemption and how can you lose your exemption and if the deed is changed. So tell me general terms.
All right. Every year, predicated on January 1st ownership and residency, if I own a piece of real estate and I reside there, and I don't have a homestead anywhere else, I can come into the local authority and file for a homestead exemption on that property. They will check if my name is on the deed, on the title, make sure I don't own any other property, and then I will qualify.
That has a homestead exemption, though. They'll check, make sure you have another one.
Correct.
Okay.
Now I've got it, okay, because I qualified and it's in the system. Now, when my ownership changes during the course of a year due to new deeds being filed, okay, yes, that will almost certainly trigger removal of the previous application under the previous ownership. Got it?
I do. Yep.
Now, we're a small county. We know most everybody.
Yeah.
And if Fred Jones, we know Fred, and we saw him at Ingles the other day, and Fred does a new deed that adds one of his kids or his wife to the deed as joint tenants with right of survivorship, we're probably going to leave Fred's homestead exemption in place simply because we have that knowledge. Most jurisdictions would not have that level of understanding of their ownership.
So let's use a big metro area, Fulton, Cobb, any of the others hypothetically in Atlanta.
Better go file again.
So let's clarify new deed. And when I say new deed, if my name was written on title when I bought the home as Bob Johnson, and I said, you know what, I wanted to show Robert Johnson, and I just happened to change the spelling. Robert Johnson's Jr. They didn't do it right at closing. I want it fixed. Does that trigger it to be removed by name, by simply the spelling of the name? That's the first one. Would it trigger that to be removed?
If it is a warranty deed, I'm going to say yes, it will, Alan. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Do you know how many Bob and Robert Johnsons and John Smiths there are in the world?
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm saying, it probably will trigger it because most people are not going to know the rest of the story, that that's the same entity, because the deed's probably not going to state that.
So the real answer is, if you refinance your house, if you refinance and don't change one thing about that deed, not one thing, name spelling is identical, you're not going to lose your exemption.
I wouldn't think so, because you haven't changed the ownership. All that would be is a security deed.
Correct. But if you change anything, the spelling, add a spouse, add anybody at all, you better, to be safe, go back in and refile. And then one other question, you said something about January 1. If I purchase a home June 2020, when can I go file for exemption?
Well, I'm fixing to confuse you now. You can file as soon as the county gets the paperwork and they've got the new systems like we've got where we're doing the future year.
Yep.
You can file year-round now in the state of Georgia. However, it's not applicable till the following year. In other words, you've got until April 1st of the next year after that January 1st.
Got that. But the main thing is, people ask, I'm buying a home, do I need to wait 6 months, 9 months, whatever? I want to tell them as soon as it's recorded, your deed's recorded with a county, you can proactively, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whenever, you can go ahead and file now. You don't have to wait till January 1. It's not going to apply officially till the following year, but you can go ahead and file like right away. You don't have to wait 7 months hypothetically to do that, correct?
You are correct, Alan. Ain't that nice? I'm not like your wife telling you you're wrong all the time. But I'm gonna give you a caveat on that.
Please.
I have people call me all the time, and here's the first question that I ask them, other than, do you have a house somewhere else? The next question I ask them is, if you pull your driver's license out, what address is on your driver's license? Most people, it's going to be their old address. And then I tell them, after you go and update your driver's license, so when you come in here to file, that's going to show as your place of residence. Come do it at that time.
So and this is something that happened to my closing attorney of all people, it was related to a vehicle. He didn't have one of the vehicle tags registered, and they did not accept the homestead exemption. He had to go back and reapply. So if somebody's moving to the state of Georgia from another state, they purchase a home, even if the deed for the new home potentially is recorded in the next 4 to 6 weeks, if they have not updated their driver's license to show the state of Georgia, if they apply for homestead exemption, they're not going to get it until they send a driver's license with the state of Georgia and the address for that home. Is that correct?
That is correct, because it's all tied to residency.
Wow. That is fabulous information. Is there any other catches, anything else related to this specifically that I've not asked you, that you say, Alan, well, here's something that happened the other day, something just something to maybe be aware of?
Here's the biggest thing that we run into with new owners.
Okay.
Alan, everybody in our world is ordering off Amazon, going to the store. They're doing it now. They're receiving it now. They're in
right.
the doing it right now world. One of the biggest problems that we run into with new owners is they fail to realize they have got to go pay the tax bill that comes out at the end of that year that they bought the property. And I preach this to all my real estate closing attorneys and everything. I said, y'all have got to be more clear at closing that they need to do that. Oh, yes, sir, we tell them. I said, well, they're not understanding it. I said, one side's excited that you're selling the property, the other side's excited that they're buying it, but so many people think that they paid the actual tax bill when it was prorated between the parties at closing. So if I was going to give you any advice for your clients and everything, let them know, hey, when the bills come out for this particular county in the fall, go up there, get that bill, and make sure and satisfy it. You're not going to be the owner of record till the following year.
So let's clarify that. The seller sells the home, and it's prorated.
Between the parties at the closing.
Correct. That bill comes out 6 months later, and the new homeowner, it gets sent to the mortgage company and to the new homeowner. Who's paying that?
Okay. That's where the confusion comes in.
Correct.
The bill's going out, and if I own the property January 1st and I sold it to Stephanie,
yep.
The bill's going to go out in my name for that year, but the bill's not going to come out until the fall.
Correct.
Well, Stephanie's not getting a bill because she wasn't the owner of record. But most of these new owners like Stephanie think that when that lawyer prorated taxes on the closing sheet, that the lawyer went and paid the taxes for that year, which is not what's happening.
Got it. That is a confusing topic that happens on a regular basis right there.
It's the
That's
biggest
perfect.
one that we deal with.
Got it. So how would you recommend that to be handled? The bill goes out, It goes out to the seller who no longer owns the property. It's mailed to the home. The new owner receives that bill in their mailbox, but it's addressed to the previous owner. Should they open it, or should they say, I now need to go to the county and I need to pay this bill? The new owner needs to pay it.
Okay, that's one scenario.
Okay.
The address that bill's been going to may not have anything to do with the property that's transferred.
That's true, too.
Yeah. The biggest thing is education of the new owners. Hey, there's going to be a bill comes out this fall. When you hear that the tax books are open, you need to go up there and pay this bill. We prorated the amount between you two in the closing statement. For some reason, that message is not getting across to the new owners.
Got it. Got it. That is excellent. Thank you. Anything else?
I'm proud you're doing what you're doing. The more we can educate people into the process, and you got to think about it, we deal with it every day. Most people don't deal with a new property once every 10 or 30 years.
That's right.
So the
That's
education
exactly right.
process is extremely important, and I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great day today.
All right, you do the same.
Thank you much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.